Hi, my name is Candy Hooser, and today I would like to talk to you about the art of persuasion. The art of persuasion is a very necessary skill for those in sales, marketing, and politics. This art is the ability to influence the attitudes and actions of others into a particular direction. Since we find ourselves at the opening of the presidential campaign season, I would like to focus on the use of persuasion by politicians. In our country, electability is very closely linked to the ability to persuade others. With this in mind, I would like for us to look at how a successful political candidate will make use of persuasion in a campaign speech. First, this successful candidate will reach back in time to tap into the works of Aristotle. It is Aristotle that taught us the importance of audience adaptation. With audience adaptation, the candidate will be able to address each audience in a particular way. As Aristotle noted, each audience is segmented, meaning that each audience has a particular set of interests. Therefore, the candidate will look to what Aristotle termed as popular appeals, which we today would understand as popular topics or issues of the day. In regard to these issues, today's candidate will put forth a message that meets the desired or expected proposals of his audience in regard to issues like health care, national security, and education. Next, the successful candidate will come forward in time to embrace some of the more contemporary theories of persuasion with which to build on his base with Aristotle. The more contemporary theories put a lot of focus on the question, who makes up your audience? Kenneth Burke would have the candidate learn the substances of an audience. In other words, learn the values and belief systems of your audience. With this knowledge, the candidate can find areas in which he can identify with the audience. This identification can be achieved through personal narratives. The candidate may choose to offer personal narratives describing his own humble beginnings or his own personal experiences in our healthcare system. These narratives will work to show the candidate as someone that the audience can relate to, someone that the audience considers one of them. The audience will see the candidate as someone who shares their same concerns and experiences. The successful candidate will also want to consider the social scientific theories of persuasion, in particular the attitudes of an audience. Based on past experiences, belief systems, and values, audiences have particular attitudes toward issues. They may be tired of paying high taxes. They may be discouraged by educational offerings. If the politician can understand these attitudes, then he can have a good idea of what the voting behavior of his audience will be. With this understanding, the candidate can craft his message in such a way as to align his proposals with the attitudes of his audience. This alignment is very important because audiences have a deep desire for consistency with their beliefs, values, and attitudes. This desire for consistency opens up the path for persuasion to occur through the use of Petty and Cacioppo's elaboration likelihood model, specifically using the peripheral route. With the peripheral processing route, the candidate will appeal to what Aristotle termed as pathos, or the emotions of the audience. Rather than using logic and reason to sort through the message of the candidate, the audience will rely on their emotions. This is achieved by the use of several of Cialdini's principles of cognitive shortcuts. Within the message, the candidate will offer contrast between his ideas and those of his competitors, all the while incorporating Rank's model of persuasion, intensification, and downplay. The candidate will intensify the shortcomings of his competitors while at the same time downplaying gaps in his own proposals. Simultaneously, he can also employ the ask not if, but which tactic. For example, he may address his audience by asking, which do you prefer, to continue in this war or to bring our troops home? Finally, having the groundwork of identification firmly in place with his audience, the candidate will be perceived by his audience as likable. Within his message, he will also include his credentials, which will give him the authority that his audience wants to see in a candidate. The candidate will now allow the social theory of consistency to do its work while he makes use of the principle of reciprocity, only he will use this principle with a bit of a twist. He will put himself in debt to the voters. He will say to his audience, if you vote for me, I will improve health care for you. If you vote for me, I will improve education for your children. Throughout the entire speech, the candidate is building a very powerful tactic known as foot in the door. The audience has made the initial commitment to attend and receive the message. Now it's time for the next commitment, for the big request from the candidate, and that is the audience's vote. The successful candidate is the one who gets the vote, support, and commitment of his audience. To do this, he must be a master of persuasion, never forgetting the power of this art. In this current campaign season, be aware of the persuasive tactics and theories that are put to use in the quest for your vote. Thank you.